Hi everybody and welcome to the new format. Our previous videos focused more on entertainment purposes, kind of shooting the breeze while we play video games together. The new format is going to focus more on educational, informational, but don't worry, we're still going to be plenty entertaining along the way.
That's right, Ty.
Oh, hi random talking stuffed animal character.
I'm a cheap ploy for viewership.
Let's not. So to ease ourselves into this new format, we're going to play a game today that's easy, sensible, something we can wade our feet into an inch at a time. We're going to play Akiba's Trip. Developed by Acquire, the people who brought you Tenchu Stealth Assassins and Way of the Samurai, and released in the West by Xseed, the working designs of today, Akiba's Trip is one of those wacky games that showcase what we Americans assume to be just business as usual for the Japanese, and luckily enough, that couldn't be any more true. See, the game takes place in Akihabara, Tokyo. Think Las Vegas, except fewer slots and more pachinko parlors, less disorderly conduct, and more legal batshit insanity. Ever been to an anime convention? Imagine if you lived there 24/7. It's that. And I do mean it's quite literally Akihabara. Over 130 real-life stores have been used to populate these recreated city blocks, and they're quite accurate in scale. Your fair yet odd city is being terrorized by roving games of synthesters, vampire-like creatures that feed off of the will to live. You play as a young otaku. What's an otaku, you may ask? Hey Matt, what's the best way to describe an otaku? Basically, it's a derogatory term for Japanese nerds that American nerds proudly accepted because they love what they love. And who can fault that? You play as a character named Nanashi, which is Japanese for no name, because comedy. He's one of those blank slate style characters who's barely any spoken lines and communicates through sets of pre-programmed responses. So of course they chose Spike Spencer, a talented voice actor, to play him. You may know Spike as Shinji Ikari from Evangelion and, to a lesser extent, Akito Tenkawa from Nadeshiko. I myself enjoyed him as the pedophile from Excel Saga. Tricked into thinking you're about to procure a new PVC figurine, you're instead caught and are about to be turned into a synthester, but a beautiful young woman saves you just in time. After you've already been turned. But this doesn't keep our heroic nerd down, as the girl, named Shizuku, bites you and makes you something that's not adequately explained until near the end of the game. Still, your new powers give you the ability to fight the increasing threat of the vampire thingies, along with your group of college-age friends, who are also capable of fighting even though they're very normal. Yeah, common sense doesn't play much part in these types of games, and I'll be the first to cry out proudly that works completely in its favor. The setting and characters are off the wall and campy, and the game goes leaps and bounds above the Call of Duty to hold this theme throughout. While the character archetypes we've come to know and love are here, they're toyed with in creative ways that feels fresh and entertaining. The writing and translation is top-notch, and I hold a special place in my heart for any game that belittles Chan and Twitter culture. However, the game doesn't openly spite anyone, and it's very aware of the type of people it's portraying. It's lackadaisical, tongue-in-cheek, and it's a joy to behold. This comedic self-referential humor is even felt in the combat system. See, there's something I forgot to mention about the method used to kill the synthesters. Their major weakness is sunlight, so exposing them to the deathly rays turns them to dust, which I would assume happens to all otaku who go out in the sunlight. How do you expose them, you may ask? By assaulting them and taking their clothes. Look man, you can have them. It's hot out here anyway, it doesn't bother me. No, seriously, the whole purpose of the game is to beat the ever-loving shit out of these vampires, tear their clothing off, and let the sun work its oppressive magic. Oh, and just for the people who cry misogynist over the scantily clad young damsels, you can strip men as well. And you will. A lot. What weapons do you have, you may ask? Well, your partners are equipped with such deadly destructive materials like parasols and feet. You, however, have the option of going Buffy the Vampire Slayer with a myriad of armaments, including baseball bats, folding chairs, billboards, and the deadliest weapon of all, glow sticks!
Okay. Come on. Come on.
No!
Eat this!
Enemies have 3 attack zones: head, shirt, and pants, and your character's ability to rip and tear clothing levels along with your play. Eventually, you can strip them without damaging their clothes, effectively giving yourself equipable gear to hone your defenses for increasingly difficult enemies. Not that the game reaches any level of difficulty, but the combat system is so frenetic and outright fun that it's forgiven, especially since the game doesn't overstay its welcome. There are control issues at times, and the game suffers from a slight lack of polish, but compared to similar games like Artanelico, Hyperdimension Neptunia, and the Atelier series, it's definitely the best written and most fun of its peers. There's a ton of customization here, not only weapons and clothes, but you can also change your character's movement, stripping animations, and walk cycle? Wow, you don't see that every day. Let's try one of these out. This one looks interesting. Okay, I'm gonna be honest. It's very rare that a game can win me over that quickly. Yeah, that's exactly how I'd be in this scenario. There's plenty to do in the game besides collecting articles of clothing and weapons. You'll get missions and small quests from a gamut of different sources, from NPCs to your own teammates to even acquire themselves. And you'll have multiple playthroughs to accomplish this, as the game saves data in between finishing the so-so length story. The game has problems, but those problems are so vastly overshadowed by the positivity and outright delightful nature of the story and combat system that I gladly overlook them, and I think you will too. I can't recommend this game for anyone that doesn't have an appreciation for anything neck-deep in Japanese culture, but I can recommend it for anyone who's hurting for something a little more lighthearted than our boring, high-definition addled pastime. Though Akiba's trip won't challenge your twitch reflexes or require many continues to finish, what it does offer is a memorable, wacky experience that showcases the outrageousness of Japanese and gaming cultures. In a world filled with samey, brown and gray military shooters, it's nice to see the color and personality popping out of every moment of a game. Akiba's trip knows it's ridiculous, and it's inviting you along to enjoy the ride. I know I certainly did.